Welcome to lesson 1 of our course in miracles. Glad you're here. Get ready not only to do the lesson but to get hyped up. Now, I realize that I can't post links on the description yet. So if you want to find my main channel, my website, my Instagram and all of that, if you click on the channel, those links work. That within the about section. I will do my best to get the channel verified as soon as possible so that I can post links and it's easier for you to find all my other stuff. So, well, I'm saying that because one of the things that I wanted to be able to do was post the lesson for you to read in the description, post the link to the lesson. But in the meantime, if you Google A Course in Miracles Lesson 1, it's gonna pop up. So I'm sorry for the inconvenience. So what we're going to do first is read the lesson. We're going to do the lesson, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So if you saw the intro video, you know that the lessons are quite simple. The first half of the course is all addressed to your ego. So if you're a person that has been in the spiritual journey for a while, my advice is to open up yourself to the idea that there's something new for you to discover, that we might intellectually know a lot of things. We might know intellectually that we're God. But give yourself this experience anyway. Don't allow sort of pride to get in the way. That's what I did in the beginning. I was like, I know all this stuff. So I would want to skip through the lessons, but it truly is like medicine for your soul, medicine for the Alzheimer's that you've got going on, to the fact of who you truly are. Yes, you're God. Yes, you're Jesus. Yes, you're here to live a beautiful life. You're not here to suffer. So without further ado, let's get on with the lesson. Lesson 1. Nothing I see in this room, on the street, from this window, in this place, means anything to me. Now look slowly around you and practice applying this idea very specifically to whatever you see. And the lesson gives us examples. This table does not mean anything. This chair does not mean anything. This hand does not mean anything. This foot does not mean anything. This pen does not mean anything. Then look farther away from your immediate area and apply the idea to a wider range. This door does not mean anything. This body does not mean anything. That lamp does not mean anything. That sign does not mean anything. That shadow does not mean anything. Notice that these statements are not arranged in any order, and make no allowance for differences in the kinds of things to which they are applied. That is the purpose of the exercise. I'm going to stop right here just to give a little bit of a commentary. For a lot of people, this lesson already is going to give you that a little bit of anger. Because, I don't know, what if you just had a baby and you're like, I'm meant to look at the baby and say that it doesn't mean anything? Like, who do you think I am? What kind of monster do you think I am? But what this lesson is trying to get you to, not intellectually, it's allowing you to have the experience that it's all the same. Everything's made of the same. Everything's made of pure consciousness. It's all God. So nothing is really different than anything else. And as we move through the lessons, we're going to keep on applying this idea of sameness. And the cool thing about that, if you're into manifesting, is that, well, nothing's harder to manifest than anything else. It's all the same. So let's start getting comfortable with the idea that whatever shape you see, that's not what is going to give you anything. So I did mention that we were going to talk about manifesting love. And for a lot of people, the physical form of their person, they tend to focus on that, on the shape. They give it a meaning. They give meaning to a text. They give meaning to unsaid things. So when we start to apply exercises like this, it helps to retrain our mind to not do that, to accept that nothing has meaning in itself. You give meaning to things based on how you react, and you react from your state of consciousness. That's when Neville Goddard comes in, and we are going to talk about that. So back to the lesson. The statement should merely be applied to anything you see. As you practice the idea for the day, use it totally indiscriminately. Do not attempt to apply it to everything you see, for these exercises should not become ritualistic, because rituals lose meaning, and the exercise itself means something. Only be sure that nothing you see is specifically excluded. One thing is like another as far as the application of the idea is concerned. Each of the first 3 lessons should not be done more than twice a day each, preferably morning and evening, nor should they be attempted for more than a minute or so, unless that entails a sense of hurry. A comfortable sense of leisure is essential. So let's do it. I'm going to set my timer for 1 minute, and we're just going to look around, and you're going to look around, and we're going to tell ourselves how none of this, whatever it is that we're seeing, we're going to name it, and we're going to remember that it does not mean anything, whether you're talking about your body, your dog, your baby, huge piles of money that you might have lying around, anything. Always take a deep breath before you start the lesson. Really come into your body. Let's go. That went by fast. I love this lesson. I love every lesson. You're gonna hear me say that about all of them, really. But what I really like about this lesson is that the simplicity of it helps us get in this state of the observer, because we're not thinking about what we're seeing. I look at a cup of coffee and I'm not trying to define the cup of coffee. I'm merely focusing on the shape and accepting to the best of my ability that it doesn't mean anything. One interesting thing that I thought I'd mention, I've got pictures above me, and I was looking at that picture, and it reminded me how when you're looking around, you're going about your day, when you're interacting with your person or with your phone. Some of you I know that might feel that there's a lack of text. Sorry, the alarm went off again. A lack of text. We want to give it meaning. It's natural. But remember that what you're seeing is no different than pixels on a screen. They only pretend to be something because of the color and how they're arranged and how they are moving. But it's just, in the case of a television, in the case of, well, not a picture, but yeah, a television, a computer, a phone, it's just electricity doing that. When it comes to what we know as real life, it's just, let's call it God pixels. And as we get further into the course, it gets really exciting. You're going to learn that it's not the images coming in. You're out picturing it. You're literally projecting things out. So I hope that this lesson gave you at least a moment of peace, of not having to think of problems that you think you have. And yes, I said you think you have intentionally. Things that you think you're missing. Limits that you think you are. Because you're none of that. You've never been any of that. And we're going to become aware of that. We're going to become aware of the truth. So think of this as house cleaning, where you've got this beautiful mansion with many rooms, everything you could desire, but you kind of boxed yourself into a room with all of this clutter that you've held on to because you thought it means a lot. Now we're just cleaning up so that you can become aware of the mansion that you actually live in, where nothing's ever missing, where all is provided for. So I'll see you on the next lesson. Bye-bye and enjoy. And don't forget to apply it again before you go to sleep. Okay? Promise? Promise.